What if I told you you have real emotions for people who don't even know you exist? Not just admiration, not just entertainment, something deeper, attachment, connection, even loyalty. And the scariest part? Your brain treats it as completely real. You've never met them. They've never spoken to you. They don't know your name. They don't know your story. But somehow, they feel like part of your life. You miss them when they don't post. You feel something when they struggle. You get excited when they succeed. And that should feel strange, but it doesn't. It feels natural. This is why you feel close to people who don't know you. And once you see what's really happening, you won't be able to unsee it. Let's start with something uncomfortable. Your brain does not care if a relationship is real. It only cares if it feels real. That's it. That's the rule. If something triggers emotion, your brain accepts it. No questions asked. So when you watch someone over and over again, your brain starts building a pattern. Face, voice, expressions, tone. And patterns create familiarity. And familiarity creates trust. Not logical trust, not earned trust, automatic trust. The kind you don't even notice. That's why someone on a screen can feel more real to you than someone sitting next to you. Because your brain has seen them more, heard them more, felt them more. And your brain keeps score. Now here's where it gets deeper. You're not just watching them, you're completing them. Every time they speak, your brain fills in the missing pieces. Who they are when the camera is off, how they treat people, what kind of person they really are. You create a full personality from fragments. And the crazy part? You believe it. You trust it. You defend it. Because it feels like knowledge, but it's actually projection. You're not seeing them as they are. You're seeing them as your brain needs them to be. Relatable, consistent, safe. Safe is the key word. Because real people aren't always safe. They ignore you, they misunderstand you, they disappoint you. But this person, they never do. They show up when you want. They say what you need. They exist on your terms. That's not a relationship. That's control. And your brain loves control. Because control means no pain. Now add something even more powerful. Consistency. They're always there. Every day. Every week. Every time you open your phone. Same voice, same energy, same presence. And your brain starts to anchor to that. It becomes part of your routine, part of your emotional rhythm. You don't even notice when it happens, but one day, they stop posting. And suddenly, something feels off. Your day feels quieter. Your routine feels broken. And you think, why do I care this much? Because your brain categorized them as someone important. Not logically, emotionally. And emotional categories are the strongest ones we have. Now here's the moment most people don't want to admit. Sometimes this feels better than real relationships. Because it's easier. There's no risk, no rejection, no awkward silence, no misunderstanding, just connection. Clean, controlled, predictable. You can watch without being seen, listen without being judged, feel without being vulnerable. And your brain starts to prefer that. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is efficient. It chooses the path of least emotional resistance. And this is effortless connection. But effortless comes with a cost. Because while you feel like you know them, they will never know you. Not your thoughts, not your struggles, not your existence. And your brain quietly ignores that imbalance, because the feeling is enough. Until it isn't. Until something breaks the illusion. They say something you disagree with. They act in a way you didn't expect. They become different. And suddenly, it feels personal, like they changed, like they betrayed something. But they didn't. They were always that person. You just didn't see it, because you weren't connected to them. You were connected to the version your brain created. And when that version collapses, it hurts. Not because you lost them, but because you lost the illusion. And your brain doesn't like losing illusions, because illusions feel safe. Now let's go even deeper. Have you ever defended someone online like you personally knew them? Argued with strangers over someone who doesn't know your name? Felt angry when someone criticized them? That's not logic. That's attachment. Your brain placed them inside your social circle, not physically, psychologically. And once someone enters that circle, your brain protects them, just like it would protect a friend. That's how powerful this is. Now imagine this: millions of people feeling that same connection to the same person, all believing in slightly different versions of them. That's not just influence, that's psychological gravity, and it pulls you in without you realizing it. Now here's the question that matters. Is this bad? Not necessarily. These connections can inspire you, motivate you, make you feel less alone, but only if you understand them. Because if you don't, you can lose something real: your attention, your emotional energy, your sense of connection to actual people. You start replacing real conversations with passive watching, real vulnerability with safe observation. And slowly, your world becomes one-sided. You feel connected, but no one is actually connecting with you. And that's the silent danger. Because loneliness doesn't always feel like isolation. Sometimes it feels like watching someone else live and feeling like you're part of it when you're not. So the next time you feel that pull, that strange sense of closeness, pause. Ask yourself, do I actually know this person? Or do I know the version my brain built from fragments? Because that awareness changes everything. You stop confusing exposure with connection. You stop mistaking familiarity for intimacy, and you take your attention back. You still watch, you still enjoy, you still feel, but now you choose where that feeling goes. And that is the difference between being influenced and being in control.